Meat in the freezer.
So happy I'm on lunch.
It's so stupid. I think it might work.
Chaos? Like every hunting season.
Seems like it's not going anywhere, but it also seems like it could go somewhere.
He lost his paper bag, I swear.
I will not. I'm actually pretty good directionally. Oh, wow, that was faster than normal. Dude, we had some serious internet problems last week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. It was all garbly good.
This will be like the first time in these upcoming weeks that I'll not be in the stand. Like every once in a while I'll join and it'll be like, hey, can't hear shit. Good to see you.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You're like, oh,
funny.
dude.
That's funny. Okay, well, I'll just rip this here and then we'll move into it.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast. We're in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. For those that might not know, I think we have a number of new listeners coming in because of some sweet technology we use on Instagram. But also we ran a November sweepstakes to try to bring people in. So welcome to the show. Happy to have you here. If you're a returning listener like our buddy Keegan in the comments, good to see you here, buddy. I'm surprised you show up. Not you, but anyone that listens to this regularly. I'm surprised people come back to this weird show. Derek's got a Christmas concert for his daughter. Greg's doing HVAC installs.
You
like
called
a maniac.
like 15 more people, and then you were like, Jacob,
yeah,
just,
I did it.
I'm completely out of
you
options.
were like right there at the top of my list. And also like you're local.
Yeah.
I could have like reached out to our podcast network host and done a virtual. This is better.
Yeah.
And you and I seem to be on a similar wavelength with some of the things we're interested in from like a moral or like whatever you want to call it,
Sure.
philosophical standpoint. So that's kind of neat. So for those that aren't familiar, Jacob Sklener, he's been here before. He's been on the show before. And I want to just do some housekeeping things. We'll dive into the topic. I don't have any bourbon tonight, mainly because I forgot to pour it. But I am drinking that'll make for an interesting...
You can always fix that.
I could. This will keep me going pretty good. I got a late night. So
straight and narrow, yeah.
Housekeeping. So we'll do one more episode for this calendar year next week. And it'll be the whole crew, Matt, Tyler, Derek. I think Greg's going to make it in. And then we're all going to go out for dinner after the pod as a group. So I'm excited for that. That'll be our last episode of the year. So taking off for the holiday, and then we'll be back in January. But January's busy because we have ATA and SHOT Show that we go to. It's just a lot of running around. That being said, I think it's been a pretty decent year of the pod. I mean, we moved into this space. Had folks like you on.
It's been
like,
really cool seeing you guys grow, honestly. Like just outside
yeah.
in. Like,
yeah, I don't know what it looks like on the outside in. And the inside out, I feel like just crazy all the time. I don't know the difference. So
yeah, I think that's a weird thing in general. And it probably, I mean, we're probably going to echo this point with what we talk about today. But like, I think that it's interesting knowing what goes into a video or knowing what goes into a podcast or all those things. Like, the chaos, all the time priority, like what you're doing in terms of sacrifices with your family and stuff like that. But like outside in, you're just looking at the product. Like you're just looking at this video and you're just thinking like, man, I don't know what it took for these people to put this together. But most people they don't consider
no one would
it at
even
all.
think about it. Like I don't expect people to consider it. They don't care. They're the consumer. Like as a consumer, I don't care how products made. I just want it at my damn doorstep and I want to use it. I don't care. So I don't. It's like Gary Vaynerchuk had said, like as the CEO of your company or as a business owner, like some CEOs are really mad that why don't they care more? Why do my employees care? Why do they work as hard as I work? Because it's literally not their fucking business.
Yeah. They
shouldn't care more than you. Why would you expect them to? Like, anyway, so I feel similar about that. I would never expect anyone to care about our shit as much as I care about our shit.
It's just so detached, like you just don't, like the average person has literally no clue. You know how many times I get comments that like, I love this video because it's unedited. And it's like, bro, just the more raw, the better. And I'm like, I always go back to like, if I ever get the time, I really want to release like some of my Nebraska hunts, but unedited.
Yeah.
Cause it's like phone scope or an AX53 handy cam, like zoomed in on a deer that's over a mile away.
It's just grainy as fuck.
And it's just shaky, grainy, like I'm keyframing to just keep the deer within the frame, and then I have to check back and make sure I don't have like black frame cropping in all the time. So like I would die for people to see what that, like, I mean, it's so
that
far
much to
there's
get to
smoke
that.
in
Yeah.
between. Like you literally can't. It's blurry, you know. It's
Yeah.
like you have to adjust sharpness and color grade it and all that. So like I want to show people, like when you say you want a raw video, like this is a raw video. This encounter that you saw 3 hot minutes of, it's 43 minutes long, and you can see the deer for 5 minutes in frame. Here's your unedited video. Like I almost want to put in a challenge, like watch this to completion, and just put in like one ad, you know, like at the very end, so people have to watch the whole freaking thing
Oh my gosh.
with no interruption, and then we'll just see like the 6 viewers if they were like, yeah, unedited. Like
No one will, dude. No,
I know.
again, people don't care about the buying. I mean, some people do. Some people do, but it's a very small percentage. It's like your mom watches every episode kind of thing, you know? Like, yeah. I think my mom does watch most of the episodes.
Well, my mom too.
Commenting at some point. My dad
she doesn't
too.
know about podcasts with me anymore. She doesn't keep track of that, but she watches videos. I will say, when people say unedited, I should clarify, they probably mean like real, authentic.
Yeah.
And that's a different thing, right? Like I think the problem is when you edit videos, and you have to, like, you control the output. So like no one's ever going to see who you or I really are as a person, no matter how hard we try, right?
Yeah.
Like I think you and I try to like accentuate our voice, like our personal voice in it. And then there's some people I know that deliberately hide their true intention in their voice, and like it, I don't know. There's some people that are glorified,
but we're not actors, so like you,
Yeah.
to some degree, you watch enough hunting videos, you are seeing that real person because they're not scripting. I mean, they might be like storyboarding and trying to hit something.
Mm-hmm.
But like Keegan, it's funny that he's in the comments because if he runs camera on me, I'm a WYSIWYG guy. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty awkward on camera because I'm pretty awkward in real life. If you have a real encounter with me, I'm kind of like don't know what to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Anywho, topically, I think the title here is which hunters are more selfish, and there's we'll get into that, I think, and it stems from a comment we got on a post. It wasn't our post, it was someone else's post, and we got tagged on it. And the whole thing was kind of interesting. It was like, shouldn't we be calling people out and shaming them for doing, you know, things that aren't like in line with basically QDMA?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, calling people out and shaming them are two different things. There's different ways to go about that. And then we got dragged into some like mud of the comment section. But you recently had posted a video about a poacher that you had kind of like documented this process last hunting season.
Yeah.
And so when people look at the date in the comment, I'm like, well, it took a little bit to build the story and get the conclusion.
Well, it wasn't legal to share it until they issued citations. Like, well, it might have been legal, but like, it was an
You're not trying
case.
to just ride a wave of controversy before. So I'm like, with the CJ Alexander buck, people were all up on that thing, but nothing had been like, the discovery period wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
So everyone's like rushing to conclusions because they want to be a part of it.
Well, I wanted everything.
That's not what you're doing.
Yeah, I wanted everything to go right. You know,
it's funny that's the comment. You're just doing this for attention. Like, well, actually, it's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
If you look at how you put it
blurred
together.
the guy's face and everything too.
Yeah.
I had, dude, just everyone will have some commentary about what you did wrong or right, and that's fine. Like, honestly, like I appreciate negative feedback, but I want to be able to have a conversation with you and understand your perspective. Because even if I disagree with you, like, perception is reality. Like, if you perceive something this way and I didn't mean for it to be perceived that way, it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that that's a different way that this could be taken. And I can either decide if I can improve on that or if it's not worth my time. But that can't happen without like a conversation, right? So like this will be the context for the rest of our conversation. So I'll just share like the story of kind of what happened.
Yeah. Let's break it down because like we got people listening and all that jazz. So
yeah,
first of all, poaching is like I advocate for that 0. Like it's a 0-sum game for
no
that.
Tolerance. Yeah.
Like no tolerance. And I think there's like some cracks that can form there where like, oh, I didn't know. There is a level of if someone's new, maybe they didn't understand a regulation, like where you draw the line of poaching. But like when you knowingly do something that's wrong and against regulations, you're shooting after hours, you're doubling up on a tag. Like there are some fine lines there. And most of us know far better than to cross them. And the guys that don't know, claiming ignorant only gets you so far because like you should be educated about what you're doing out there.
Yeah.
You know, you should figure it out. And following rules is like this is a self-policing industry,
Mhm.
we're out in the wild. That being said, to your point, to the story you're getting to, there's cameras everywhere, man.
Yeah, so there's
So-
like general reservations beforehand, right? So like I don't want, no matter how heinous someone does, like I want to forgive them. Like
Yeah,
God tells
yep.
us to forgive, right? I'm religious, and like I want them to see it as an opportunity to become maybe a better person, whatever.
I think Luke 17 is all about forgiveness.
Yes.
And he says, keep forgiving, keep forgiving, keep forgiving.
Yes.
I'm like, man, phew, okay.
Sometimes it's hard. Yeah. Well, it's like I want that person to, like, if our corporeal level is him getting a fine, right? Like I'm not making judgment on his soul, right?
Mhm.
Like we are allowed to say if someone's guilty, and we're allowed to have.
There's
government order.
accountability among
there's
society.
a very different.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing than
Yeah.
judging someone's place in heaven or hell, right?
Yeah.
So like. The Bible's pretty clear on that, like that punishment is a thing on a human to human level. So like if that minute punishment may serve as something that changes the momentum of his life. And I talked to Dan Infeld about this a ton on his podcast too. When we broke down this story, we probably spent 5 minutes just talking about how like this guy did a horrible thing, but maybe this is the guy that turns into a serial killer someday if he just keeps going on this path.
It's like the documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yeah. It's just like
Don't poach deer.
Someone compared the guy to Ed Gein too, like in the comments. That
wow.
Just weird stuff. But like this guy made a bad move, right? And he should be allowed to be forgiven of that, and he should face his punishment, right? But it's not up to me to like ruin his life, or like do any of that. So like some of my reservations, even making this video or talking about it, first and foremost, like ruining the land for everyone else, like. Spoiler alert, the map I show is not the freaking property that he killed the deer on. And it's analogous, but it's purposely different, it's analogous so people can learn and people can relate these things to their situations where they might see pressure, where deer might show up in daylight, so people can learn. It's educational. But it's not the same because I really don't want to torch that property for everyone else that hunts it. Like I literally have a board of people that I screen my videos through saying, is this too revealing? Because I know you already know where this is at.
I've wondered that about my stuff. And the videographers that tend to be hunting videographers that we've had along, like, Keegan, and we've had a guy named Caleb, we've had Jace, like those guys kind of know the rules here. Like, dude, you can't show the parking lot. Okay. Let's not do that.
Very
like
blatantly.
that.
It's like no access, like none of the same major features, no signage. Skylines are tough. Houses are tough, businesses tough, roads tough. You need to be careful about the orientation of the map, like north, south, east, west. You need to be careful about really traceable things on certain days, like extreme weather and things like that. The method of access too. So like I go way into that rabbit hole.
Yeah, geez.
Like I flip footage sometimes too. Like I will everything left is now right. It makes it to edit, like it's just a pain in the ass to edit because everything you remember is now flipped. So like you're trying to recall the moment, you're like, oh god, like everything's backward, but it's worth it, like, and so when I hear and if you make content, like you're gonna hear this, especially in public, like there are people be saying like, oh well, there's more attention to that property because so and so is making videos, and it's just like that crushes me, like because I love the people that are on that property. I love anyone that goes out and hunts public land. Like I'm in full support of that, and I want to grow that. But it's like really sad hearing that I might have played a role in something getting worse. But I just go back to what we talked about last time, is like this thing saved my life at some point, right? Like for me, it is making it harder on me. Like I hunt the same land, right? Most people aren't, by the information I'm putting out, discovering the property because I am so secretive with it. But most people that do hunt the property might have crossed that part at one point, right? And now they understand they might want to go there at some time of year or something like that. So in a way, it can make spots a little bit worse. Most people are really respectful of it. Most people that can, from a video, identify an area, do enough hard work and do enough scouting to know that they're not just going to go tear up an area. Yeah. And they have their own stuff that they're interested in, right? Like they're not just going to like, well, let's see what YouTube shows me to hunt today. Like those people are like, well, I found this freaking hot sign, I'm going to hunt it. Like, so there's always the resistance in that angle, right? But I work really hard to make sure that that's not too bad, and I run it past people. And then there's kind of making this guy look bad, and I blur his face every single time.
I think you're making the subject bad, which is good. The guy itself, he's just an example of the situation that we
Yeah.
want to make sure we prevent. So
Right.
like you should be able to put someone in that guy's shoes. Like I should never do that
Yeah.
because this is a bad outcome. Like we want to deter people from that.
Yeah, and then you're also like you're quoting information that might be used in a trial at some point, right? So that's where that wait period come in. I'll go into more detail on that. So like it's a year ago and I made the video 2 weeks ago. It's pretty hard to like remember every detail. So like I write down the details if it was something this important. So you want to make sure you get all that right, but you also can't give away stuff that's so revealing. Like there's pieces of evidence that I can't share because it would give away the property. You know, like there's stuff like that. So like everything that you see in that video, there's more than just that. And the video is, you watched the video, I assume.
did, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, usually when you text me to
It's
watch a
pretty
video,
obvious.
I've like just put my kids to bed and I'm in bed with one of them. And then they pass out and I can get my phone out and I'm watching on my phone.
It's
I'm
only
laying
8
there in
minutes.
bed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
only
like,
8
okay, I
minutes
can rip
long,
this
like-
right now.
I tried to condense it as much as possible. So it's just like bam, bam, bam. Here are the facts. And then the other part of it is like, and I've gotten some comments about this, and it's one in a very, very, very large amount, was like I don't want to seem like I'm bragging that I caught this guy.
Yeah, right.
But like
It just kind of happened. It
I
fell in your lap.
literally caught him on camera. Like caught is the exact word that you would have to use in that situation. I captured maybe, but that sounds worse. Like, so like this would not have happened if I didn't get extremely unfortunate or fortunate to like witness this deer with its guts spilling out right in front of me.
And that would create a visceral response in any deer hunter.
Yeah.
To have that come across your camera, you'd be like, "Whoa, shit!" And
And I
just for
would-
context, for those that don't know, this video is on YouTube. What's the title of it?
I caught a poacher, albino deer poacher, or something like that.
But yeah, it was an albino deer.
It starts with
Like,
I caught a poacher.
You know, it's like that's not a deer. You're just gonna.
Let me see.
My thought process there is like, if I live in a small town and there's a single Lamborghini in that town, and I steal that Lamborghini, I can't even enjoy the Lamborghini because I could never drive it because everyone would know that was Derek's Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Like, so criminals are stupid. It's almost like the criminals that are like taking a selfie of them robbing a gas station. It's like, well, what did you just incriminated yourself. Like you're doing something illegal and then you top it off by doing something even dumb. Like I always find the logic to be funny. Be like, what an idiot. Why would they do that? Like you would think you'd want to do something to not get caught.
Right.
So when you shoot a white fucking deer and like, of course you're going to get caught. What are you doing? When are you going to do that? You can't mount it? What are you,
Right.
you put in your tail, everyone's going to notice? Like what's going on here?
Well, and the hard part, it's just hard to kind of like detach any ego from it because like literally in the police.
I'd love to know the intention behind what this guy was
doing.
doing.
The police and the wardens were like, we would not, very quite frankly, they were like, we would not have got this guy or any hint of it if you didn't tell us. And that's just,
and they would,
that's
because
just
it's
fact.
self-policing thing.
Yeah. So like saying I caught him is not me trying to be like, look at it, I caught him. You know, like I'm not trying to
You're not
claim
some
it.
proud
I'm not trying to gloat
jackass.
or like
Yeah.
claim any ownership over this, but like literally
You did the right thing in the right
because of
situation.
the people I know and the positive relationships I have on this public land, I was able to not use what I found, which was the smoking gun, obviously, and then bring it further to like actually make a solid, where did this guy come to? Like, where did he come from? Where did he go? And how did he come back? And there was like, with the day before, just like, it was crazy how lucky it was to capture that guy's entire walking trail for over a mile the day before, like on video, busting one of my
Dude, when my
dogs.
dog ran away when we got our second boxer in 2021 or 2, somewhere in there, she ran away. Like we didn't realize she got away, and we're like, oh my God, she's at the golf course. Oh my God, she's here. And then like we couldn't find her. And she's like in this marshy swamp area. I was like, dude, fucking coyotes are gonna eat our puppy.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Yeah, that's scary.
She went a whole night. But what had happened is she hit so many Ring doorbells that when we posted to Facebook, people we don't know, people we did know, like through Ring doorbell technology, we were able to find our dog and like recover our dog because she showed up so many cameras. We could kind of plot the trail that she took and kind of predict where she was, and we knew exactly where she was. It was crazy. So I'm assuming this is similar, you know?
And then a ton of people, of course, like, well, there's a cell camera at 10 yards. And it's not freaking true at all when you look at the scale of this property. But, like, of course, this is maybe the one silver lining to come from cell cameras in many people's eyes that a poacher got caught using them. But, like, in reality, these cell cameras are dispersed. But I totally understand their argument, too. Like, I don't want a cell camera every 5 inches. I don't want cameras necessarily watching me. Like, people are going to use them, whatever. So, like, an invited room because of all the evidence that was gained at the hand of cell cameras for criticism on the use of cell cameras.
Yeah.
And that
Well, it's like Alexa.
they must be getting overused.
Alexa has been, what's the word here? For discovery purposes and certain, like, they've been used to help with murder cases.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking listening.
Yeah.
But then the conundrum is like, well, we can't give you that for discovery because that's, what's the word I'm looking for? Invades our privacy.
Yeah.
But isn't that helpful to have to
Right.
know who murdered someone? You know, like there's the shit gets kind of blurry when you put ethics into it like this.
Yeah. Well, and like, again, there's so many things that were just really lucky in the way that things were captured. Like, where those cell cameras were, there was not another cell camera within several hundred yards of them. And it was the way that people walk on that property. Like, it was just a trail through the cattails, and you're not going to deviate from that trail. It's the easiest to walk trail through the cattails, and it's one of the few areas that breaks to canary grass. You know, so like, it just makes sense for someone. It's also a trail that deer use. Deer use it plenty at night. So it's a perfect place for people to get a survey on what deer are left. And also, it's for the purpose of pressure. Most of the people that had those cameras out there, I'm pretty damn sure that they had it out there to see if people were actually walking the whole damn way back in there and hunting it. And so, like, that camera was set for the reason of catching people walking partially. So, like, it is probably not a mistake that they caught a person walking into the property. You know, it's like, that's my kind of reservations with this video. Like, you know, but I think it's a kick-ass story. Like, I think it's it's the craziest thing probably that's ever happened to me on public land, catching someone poaching an albino deer, which is illegal in Wisconsin. For everyone listening outside of Wisconsin, like many, many, many states, it's illegal. It is legal, but in Wisconsin, it is not legal to shoot a white or albino deer. It's legal to shoot a piebald, but that excludes anything glandular, so like anything on their foreheads, anything on their tarsals, anything like that. They don't have to have a pink nose and white eyes. You know, there is a population of white deer that's not true pure albino that is also illegal to kill. And there's a ton of people asking me.
It's like a good omen usually too. Like,
yeah, there's like a native
like,
kind of like you'll be cursed kind of thing. And I think there's a ton of people asking me, why is that law a thing? And I don't really like question the law. I just follow it, you know? So like, the two really good arguments I've heard, I don't know if the first one's that good, but it's been like natives, the curse and whatever. So like, natives see them as sacred animals, and, you know, we shouldn't kill the sacred animal because of a rich native history in Wisconsin. You know, every damn town is named after a native tribe.
Oconomowoc.
Yeah, Potawatomi and all. Yeah,
seriously.
So like, the other good argument I see is more of an ethical argument, is that a lot of the general public see white deer and albino deer as sacred. They see it as like this really special, really rare species, where if you went to Wisconsin, you hunted every day, you'd see a ton of them. Or if you went to county Wisconsin, or, you know, Wisconsin, or, you know, any of those counties that is just densely filled with them, you know, they're everywhere. So like, there's people up in that are saying they're seeing a ton of albino deer. Like, every county most of the counties that, I mean, you probably see albinos all the time where you hunt.
Yeah,
you
saw two when I killed my buck. The day I killed my buck with my dad, we're driving out and saw two of them. So it was actually, we thought it was special. We're like, wow.
Yeah.
We just capped our hunt up by seeing two white deer in front of us. Well,
and there's just so many people commenting about how their county, you know, is the one that they should be allowed to kill them and stuff. And like, I'm not trying to speak to that. So like, the general public doesn't know how rare this is, but you see a hunter sitting with an albino deer, a buck or doe or whatever, most of the public gets triggered pretty dang quickly when they see that. They think it's some jackass hunter, and
why would you kill that thing?
I had someone say, like, why are we, you know, attending to the thoughts of the uneducated? Like, why are we trying to garner to whatever they think? And
because they hold all the power.
I was going to say, like if a quarter of the general public was against every single hunter and everyone related to every hunter, we would be smoked. Like, it's not even remotely close. You know, there's hunters are such a tiny percentage of the people that vote on how much money we get, you know, and how we fund conservation and sustain our public lands and stuff like that. So like, it's really hard to do away with that law, no matter how much everyone understands that albino deer likely go blind and have recessive traits and can hurt the deer herd. There's some logic to that, right? So like, just because if the law was opened up, like, and I would be for the killing of albino deer, which, you know, if I was to share my personal opinion, like, yeah, if I saw an albino deer and it was legal, I would probably shoot it. You know, like, just because that is my opinion doesn't mean that I'm omit from following the law. You know, like I follow the law, period. You know, I disagree with a ton of laws out there. You know, there's a ton of 25 mile an hour speed zones that I really wish were not 25, you know, but I go a reasonable amount over 25. I'm not going to speed like it's a 45, but I'll go 30 miles an hour.
I don't want to get a ticket. Yeah.
Right. You know, I don't agree with the law, but it's not my job to, you know, my opinion, it's not my job to question it. I think we should question stuff that's ridiculous.
The poaching, in effect, was it the timestamps were in question? Did he shoot after hours and under the cover of darkness? And so there's almost like two strikes. It was that and a white deer.
I'll just go through it. Yeah, I'll go through it start to finish then. So day before, I sat in an observation sit, and right at about 7 something, so like prime time, this is November 6th, 2024, I watched a guy walking up this trail that most people take, and I filmed him for, it was at least a half mile. And I was just like, his wind blowing into the bedding that I'm trying to observe, and I was just all salty. And obviously, it never ruins your hunt the way that you'd think it would. You know, these deer are used to people walking through. But you know, I whistled at him. He didn't pay any attention. But very clear HD 4K footage of this guy in daylight, complete. You know, face looking at me, face looking away, all the things he's wearing. I'm not gonna make any commentary on crossbow hunters, but he had a crossbow with 2 green bolts in it, which is, the green fletchings are key to later, and that he was carrying 2 of them, you know, stand on his back and everything like that. And I watched the exact route he took. And the way that he's going here, if you go left or right, you're lost, period. You know, that's just how this access works, which is why the people had trails up and down the access. And so I watched him that day. I decided the property had probably been smoked by that guy that just let all of his wind blow into that bedding. And when I got that video, I texted my buddies and I was like, hey, I know you got cameras probably along this access. Like, did you guys get him? Did he just fricking do this walk that I think he did? Because it's a long walk. And, you know, I think I put the scale on the map. It's like over 2 miles to get where I was. You know, it was ridiculous. And so I was kind of impressed. And they said,
crossbow. Yeah. No, it's impressive.
Right.
They expected that.
They were like, yes. So they, you know, they got pictures of him in daylight walking up this area. And, you know, he was walking all over, and they got pictures of him along the way. I got the video of him midway up, and then my friend got a picture of him where I lost sight of him. So it was like picture before, me, picture after. And so I was like, damn, this property's smoked. So I go to hunt a different area, and had a decent sit. You know, doe was coming. Actually had a doe and heat come in, and only a 6-pointer followed her. Like, she was bleeding and everything. And like, yeah, I only had like a 6-pointer follower. I saw like a good buck running her trail, but never like connected the dots to come all the way to where I was. And, you know, she passed back after me after dark and stuff. Nothing really happened, you know? So I kind of skimmed through that in the video. And then, I'm getting down from my stand, and I'm pulling my stand down. I'm on top of my last stick, pulling my stand down. And, I get a notification on that cell camera. And it's, I think it's like 3 minutes before dark, and it's 3 minutes before shooting close. But like, I know where I'm sitting, there's nothing coming in, and it's a picture of that albino deer standing, like quartering with the camera. So I'm like, cool, you know, I get my stand off. It's a couple minutes later, and then I get one of it in infrared, but still a little bit within shooting light by a couple minutes, facing the camera. So I'm like, all right, cool, same deer. And so then I pull the rest of my stuff off, and I'm like, I think I was like getting my last stick off the tree or something like that. And I get a notification, and I'm like, I don't need to be checking cell cameras. But I look at the preview, and it's that deer like mouth open panting. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, he was moving slow before this. And that first picture I got of him at my last stick was 12 minutes after shooting time had closed. It was 12 or 14, whatever, but considerable amount after shooting time had closed. And then I'm about to put my phone back in my pocket, and I feel a buzz again. And I just, you know, go to check the preview, and I see he's further in front of the camera, but I like he's hunched, and I'm like, what? Like, it just, I was in shock. Like, it didn't ring to me what could have possibly happened to this albino deer. And I open up the picture and it's his guts completely hanging out. Like I've never seen that much intestine hanging out from a deer. Like, and it was just like this deer that everyone I had just talked to about cameras and stuff, they've had him underneath him. Like I have a video in that video that my friend took of that deer sitting underneath his stand, like browsing. Just really cool. He's like really wide. Apparently he used to be like a giant, you know, but he's gone downhill quite a bit as he got older. And then, you know, I've seen him from the stand, and everyone in the world has a story about passing on that deer because he's a albino deer. But it's just really cool, you know, cool experience. So I'm kind of like sentimental with this deer a little bit. You know, he's not my pet or anything like that, but I'm like, this is the untouchable that we all like to see a deer survive, you know, on this pressured public. And, you know, we know he's going to because he's not legal to shoot, but like, you know, it's cool. And so I'm like in shock. I'm like, what? Like this deer.
Like I'd be thinking,
I'm like,
jump
how?
a fence
I'm like,
or something. Like, what
I'm
did
like,
he do?
how? I was like, could it be a coyote? But I was like, it doesn't make sense. He's got no other marks on him. He's not running still. Like he'd be getting ripped apart if his guts were hanging out from a coyote. And I see an entry and like a drip of blood, like a line of blood going down from the entry. I'm like, oh my God, this thing just got shot. And so I immediately call my friend that I had got the time that where I had seen him visually the day before that poacher. The one that had gotten him walking up, one of my best friends, and I call him and I'm like, dude, I just caught, like, this albino just got poached. Like, are you out there? Are you on that property? Can you verify who's in the lot? And then I'm on the phone with him and I get the next picture a couple minutes later of the poacher walking in front of the camera. And I'm like, I know that freaking headlamp because he wore his headlamp in daylight the whole way up. Like, I know that headlamp. I know those glasses. I know that outfit. I'm like, I know who just did this. I was like, I just caught someone poaching the albino. And we just called it the albino. Like, everyone knew that deer. And so, and I'm like, that deer's down because a few minutes after that deer crossed my camera and stopped moving clearly, because I got 2 pictures where I'm setting middle of the burst. So like I got 3 pictures and then time delay and then 3 more pictures. And so I'm like, that deer stopped. He stopped there for a while. He's suffering. He's going to die. And so like, then I get that guy. I'm like, that deer's dead. Like that deer's dead within 20 yards of there. Because that poacher is looking at an albino deer, and 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes after light, a white deer still glows, you know? It's like, he's going to the body of that deer. He's not going to some trail. He's looking upward, right? He doesn't even have his headlamp on. And so I was like, I know who did this, and it's the same person from the day before. So I'm like, screw all that. Have your friends that are with you check the rest of the lots, and you go wait at that lot. And he's like, well, for a reason I can't reveal, he had to go. And so his friends went ahead and did that, and they waited him at the other lot. And so I start calling the DNR, and I call the DNR for that county, and he is on, like, I believe, and don't quote me on this in case anyone looks it up, I believe he's on like the only vacation he's taken in like freaking forever. And this guy is awesome. Like, I have a great relationship with this warden. He's freaking on it, you know, and he cares, and he's very, very well researched, and he's out. So I'm like, all right, next county over. And that person's on a call on the opposite side of the county. And I'm like, next county over, same thing. They're far away. And I'm like, what the heck do I do? And so I'm texting several different DNR officers, all these pins and these locations. I'm like, this guy is heading back to the lot. Like, someone needs to be there when this guy gets here. Like, cause
if he's not,
I'm like, we need his identity. Like, you have a perfect opportunity to do something with this. And like, I would be irate if we missed it, if we just let this guy get away because no one can show up. They're like, you know what? We'll call the police, or have you call the police. Like, let's call and get someone there, you know? So we called non-emergency, and we're like, hey, we can't get the DNR out here. There's someone who just committed a crime, you know, someone just poached a deer, and they're heading back down to this lot. There's no one else on the entire property, and there's one person left onto it and one car left on the whole property. Like, and we know where he has to go.
Are you still at this bottom of your tree doing all this?
My phone almost died. I was actually walking through the marsh. Funny thing, dude. I was walking through the marsh. I remember this now. My phone's at like 8%, and I'm like, shit. I like texted my fiance at the time, and I was like, hey, my phone's gonna die. I can't call you. I caught a poacher. Someone killed the white deer, and she's like, what? She's like freaking out, and I had to turn my service off for a moment because I was like, my phone's gonna die. And I'm in like this muddy cattail section, and I get like a quarter mile from my tree, and I realized that I completely forgot my tree stand and sticks. Like I was like,
so destroyed.
I was like, I need to get back to the truck. I need to get truck. Yeah. So I like turn around, whip back around. I'm at like, I think my phone died right before I got to the truck.
Oh my gosh.
But as I picked up my stand
and
and sticks, I was at 3% with power save mode. It's like, an older phone, so it's just like trashed. But so I'm freaking out, and so then they confirm that the police are going to be waiting. The police, and I kind of mentioned this in the video because I say like flew for this deer, but the police scheduled someone to come fly a drone to certify where this albino was. Yeah. And so they're waiting at the lot, and then we get the picture of the guy. I think it was before I got confirmation the police were at the lot. We get a picture of the guy on the way back, like on that camera we saw him going up on. So I'm like, shit, like he's going to be there any moment. Like, like get ready. And so like finally they show up, they're there. And I had some friends at the lot with the police, and they were like staying in the car, sitting on the side. They were the ones that were filming the police and what was going on and stuff. And I was like, do not interfere, because if you aggravate this person or any inclining is happening, like this is not ours to deal with. This is like the loss. Like this is what they're there for. And so, they sat to the side, or they were in their car or something. And obviously I wasn't there for this portion, but the confirmation I got from them when they consulted and what they actually told me is that they asked the guy, say, hey, we got reports that someone shot a deer back there. Did you shoot a deer back there? And the guy said no. And they got his identity. They got him with one green bolt left in his crossbow, in his quiver. And so they ask him again. They're like, hey, we have someone that has sent us a location of where they believe a deer is dead. And we need to know if you are the one that shot that deer. We don't believe anyone else is on this property. And he said, no, I didn't. They're like, we can't detain you. You're free to go. So, I mean, they can't.
Bold move for this dude to just blatantly lie.
And so he leaves. And so, we also know what his car looks like at this point too. So like, so the police, I think it was either police or the DNR met up with him much later that night. And they go up, and right about the time the person with the drone was going to be able to be there, he was on the way to the lot a few minutes away, and they had found the deer. So they call off the drone. They're like, we don't even need you. It's exactly at this cell camera. Like it's right behind it. And so like, just like we thought, so, they had found the deer. They didn't find much anything else, and they weren't going to get the deer out that night. So these poor officers made this like 2-mile trek. And, they get up there, they turn around.
That's fun for them. I mean, not fun, but like, this is their job. You know what I mean? Like, this is probably a little more excitement than they're used to on a typical night. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's...
Like, if I'm a ward, I'm like, all right, let's go find this thing. Let's get into it. You know what I mean? A little sense of adventure.
Right. Well, I wonder if it could have been just the police officers doing it, too.
Which then they really are like,
which is like, man. So I can't remember if they had the wardens do it, but they verified that night that deer was there. So they head back out, and, they have all this confirmation and stuff. And so I was like, I'm going to go... the next day I was like, I'm going to go hunt this property because, bump and dump kind of technique. Like, I think that this whole area has been ruined, and I'm going to basically end up right by the access again, but I'm going to park in the same lot, and I'm this same lot, and then I'm going to walk a big loop and come back around and hit this spot close by from the other side. And so it was like 2 miles of just crazy walking that I was about to do. So I was literally in the lot at 2:30 in the morning, which is, it might have been even earlier than that, which is just insane. I actually had a guy tell me that on that hunt, I had a headlamp coming in towards me off a private, and he just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And I was shining my headlamp at him, and he just looked at me and then just kept coming. And he set up 100 yards for me. It was 99.5 yards. I arranged to find it. And I confronted him when he got down, because he was like rattling and stuff like that. I had a big buck come in, but I didn't think it was going to come in from that direction, because that's kind of the direction he accessed. Yeah. And I bumped it, because I turned to get my camera around. I turned to get my bow ready. A deer saw me, stopped and ran. So I actually yelled to the guy. I was like, he's coming your way. And he didn't even know I was there until I yelled that. And so the deer came by. He didn't see it. It was in cattails, but I knew it was within range because I watched it run to him. But so I confronted him, and he was like, I thought I was hallucinating. He's like, I didn't think it was possible for someone to be here that early coming from public, just because of the walk you'd have to do. Yeah. So and he was a nice guy. Like, honestly,
that's pretty funny. Dude.
I got his phone number.
That's
I
sent
him
new
pictures.
Nickname.
Yeah, I sent him pictures of deer that were back there too.
You're the hallucination.
Yeah, that'd be great. Right. And so it was funny. But like, I'm in this lot super early, and a car pulls in the one next to me. And I don't like having my headlights on. I don't like having my headlamp on.
Yeah.
So I'm getting my stuff together, and I see this car pull up, and when it turns off, I flip on my headlamp, and all of a sudden, car turns back on, pops a Yui, skirts the fuck out of there. So like, I think it was that guy coming to recover the deer. I think it was him going to get back and try to erase whatever evidence he could.
Interesting.
And he just headed back out. But that's complete. Like, it was dark.
Yeah, you don't know.
I couldn't make out really
Could have
much
been
on his
hunter
vehicle.
going just like saying,
yeah, and
"Oh,
at
there's
that
another
point,
hunter
I
here, I'm
didn't
not gonna
know
hunt."
what his
Yeah.
vehicle looked like too, because it's like my friends are the ones that saw it.
Mhm.
You know, so like I got description from them, and it kind of matched what I had seen that morning. But there's no guarantee. And so the DNR go back in there the next day, and I get now at this point any evidence beyond this they don't share with me because they know they have a real case and they know they're going to take this to court. And so they go in, and I get pictures of them on my cell camera, as my friends do too, with the bolt in the backpack. And so they had found the crossbow bolt that killed this deer. And I was like, we got him. Like, he came out with one, he came in with two, and they found a bolt at the site with the dead deer. Like, it's about as simple as it gets. And we have this route traced. We have video of him taking the route the same day before, like the day before.
Mm-hmm.
We have pictures of him all up and down. And, basically at the time my friend had shown me that video of him, or the picture of him going up on that access, I just reached out to everyone I knew that hunted that property. And I was like, hey, these are the pictures I have. This is the guy we believe it is. If you have photos of this guy, or if you have photos of this deer, within this just couple day span, just please let me know. Yeah. And I just had people send cell camera pictures, SD pictures all over of that deer. I wasn't trying to ask for the location or anything unless they caught the person, because tracing that deer's route back is not going to do a ton for the case. But and so I got more pictures of that person. I got more pictures of that deer, and it was just like, holy crap! There's a ton of people out here. There's a ton of cameras out here. It was eye opening, but like, no one in this property is killing deer solely off of cell cameras. It's just not how it's freaking working out there because of the style of access and whatnot. But
I saw something recently where someone was selling pins. It was a poaching case with
heard
a
about
drone.
that like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I never would have thought that.
Dude, I know who he sold them to.
Are you kidding me?
I'll tell you later, but like,
wow, man. And how tempting for people too, honestly. Like, it's a pretty gray area. It's very new and emerging. So like, everyone's always trying to find some shortcut, dude. And I'm not surprised that people would do it. Like,
that's been going on for 2 years.
And so I'll use that as a pivot point a little bit, because the title of this episode is like about selfishness.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's a really engaging story, especially that you tell it and share all the details. You got the guys. Like,
I had to wait a year to release anything on it, because they were like, wait till we issue citations. They're like, there is a process before we can do that. And so now they said that we've issued citations, like, feel free. Right. And so like, it's not like a large scale murder trial where you couldn't find an unbiased jury, because no one in the world, like, they're easily going to be able to find people in Wisconsin that haven't seen my video. Yeah. So they'll be able to get an unbiased jury, and this guy will be able to be fairly tried.
It's small enough pocket.
Yeah. So that's why I waited. But that's my last piece on it.
No, it's cool. And so selfishness, that's like one whole bucket of it, is like, if you take selfishness plus social media, that's a pretty bad mixture. Now, this guy was doing something cloaked. I don't know that was his intentionality, but a lot of these poachers, like the CJ Alexander case, like, that dude was very much so trying to ride this wave of like, I want clout, I want recognition, I want affirmation, I want money, I want fame, I want sponsorship, all of those things. And that does drive a lot of people and individuals to make poor choices that get them into poaching. I don't know how many damn TV shows continue to get in trouble for poaching. Yeah. It's like constant. I'm never surprised about it anymore, because it continues to happen. It's like, I think MeatEater just put out an article about someone that was like in Montana. Yep. Like, shocker.
It was like a influencer. So
the drone one, the only thing surprising about that is it's just such a nuanced way to go about it that, like,
well, he uses cell cameras.
Not surprised.
Yeah, the guy uses cell cameras too.
Jesus.
But yeah, so like he will say,
I didn't read the whole thing.
I didn't read the article. I just know the person and what's going on and who he sold pins to. But like, he will use conjunction of cameras and drones, and he'll basically like say, these are the deer on this property. I don't know if he names them or whatever, but he'll say like, these are the deer that are obtainable, and this is the most recent intel I have on them. They're commonly seen in this bean field, this prairie or this whatever, right? And these general areas, and I have this history on them. Use these pins, buy these pins from me, and I will put you on this deer. And they'll just use all the information that guy's been gathering through drone and trail camera.
That's not too dissimilar from getting a guide or something.
I know.
However, I think maybe where it could, and I don't know, I'm speculating here, so keep me honest here, internet people that are watching.
They'll do it whether you ask or not.
Yeah, no, which is great. But I'm wondering if he was gaining this intel at nighttime, flying a drone at night or something. Because that would be where the line gets really bright all of a sudden. Like you can't cross that bright line. But
I'm not okay with the pin selling at all.
No, but and then using drones during hunting season overall, not good. Like you're not supposed to do that. Recovery's different.
Mm-hmm. There's a gray line. There's a gray area in Wisconsin right now that I'm not a huge fan of.
But I'm not advocating for selling pins. But at some point, I'm thinking of like, gosh, if I'm going to hire a guide, like Steve Shirk. Yeah. How much time does that guy spend in the woods? How much information does he have? How much intel does he have from all the cameras? Like at some point, I'm paying him to increase my odds to get a deer because he's done the homework.
Well, the term that most states use is scouting. And so like the way you and I scout is we go out in the off season
to get intel
on a deer in the season and kill. Yep. So like that's not how the law views scouting necessarily. At least the way it's enforced in most states. It's like you would need to know information from that same day. It's like the Alaska fly-in rule, right?
Okay.
Like you can't hunt within the day you fly in. So I have reported people for
I did
flying.
not know that was a rule, but it makes sense.
Yeah. So I've reported people for flying drone. Not reported people, but I would say, hey, look, there's a drone out here. The DNR has a tool where they can scan the drone and get its signal, and they link it back to the person licensed to that drone.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it's really cool. So they just go out with this little laser and point it at the drone, and they get all the information on the person flying it, which is pretty damn cool. So if that person flies the night before, I've been told by officers, if they fly the night before and then pursue that deer the next day, that's legal. Like if it's the afternoon.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And I hate to say that on a podcast, but like that, and I will say, if you do that, you're really running the risk of which warden you catch out there, because not all of them agree with it. But that
you're pushing.
How is that not deemed scouting?
Yeah,
like to me, herd analysis is scouting to me. Like,
yeah, that's
like I'm. Hey, these are the deer.
I would buy pins from here. Thanks for supporting my cause. They wouldn't lead you anywhere but a quick trip. Okay, it's all right. Get your dunkers.
Well, I feel like to me, if you, and this is just my opinion, but like, it's not worth shit. But like, if you went and found where all those deer summered and stuff, and like you had that other Derek guy on that talked about how he won't ever hunt his property. I think that's an ethical decision. And maybe his confidence in his ability to kill his deer might be greater or lesser than what's reality. But like, to me, like, if you're identifying habitual areas, right. If you're identifying like habitual areas of those deer, to me, that's scouting. Like that's gaining intel that's going to help you kill that deer. I don't think drones should be used. God, I shouldn't even say my perspective on it, but like I just feel like drones shouldn't be used for anything other than helping recover a deer that would be lost. Like helping someone from having a heartbreak, or that meat from being wasted.
Are they used for other things? Like that's the only context my mind thinks about it.
So there's like herd analysis. So they go out to your property.
Videography. Like if I'm going to film something cinematic, like man, throw a drone up real quick to get a cool shot. But other than that, like I don't.
Well, they go out to your property.
I guess I'm not devious enough to think about bad shit.
Yeah. So they go out to your property. A very popular thing is herd analysis. They go to your property.
Got it.
And I have like really good friends that are drone operators.
Like census data on the herd on your property.
Yeah. And so sometimes it gets more specific than that.
That's a thing.
And okay. I have friends that are really good ethical drone operators that do every flavor of it, like everything you could imagine with it, which is fine. Like
they're trying to run a business.
They're operating within the law. Like whether I agree with it or not is not what matters. And so like I fully support anyone's like lawful, what they do within the bounds of the law. Like I'm fine with that, and I don't think me as a man should be telling another man what he does with his time or how he provides for his family or decides to gain his living. Like I just think that's a very egotistical way to think that like I should have control and you should respect my opinion, and like no, dude. Like
so like I'll carry us through into the next thing, because like that was a bit of the thesis on the post that we got dragged into, which was like, basically, we're saying like, just don't tell. You shouldn't be telling people what they should and shouldn't do with their tag. Like that, we'll take a real hard. I'll die on that hill.
Well, here, just say the question first, and then we can.
Well, it was essentially like he was saying, and I invited him on the show too. By the way, the commenter, I was like, dude, if you want to come have a conversation on the podcast,
That'd be
like,
cool.
I would welcome that, because a lot gets lost in tonality in these texts back and forth in comments. So like, I'm happy to flesh out a conversation, have a good dialogue, and maybe I'll learn something, because I'm trying to constantly expand my horizon of this viewpoint, because I don't want to be the guy representing the brand that has a negative impact on the hunting community who's trying to do a positive one. Intent aside, I don't want to have a poor outcome here with what we're trying to do with OKS Hunter. So I'm like open to it. But he's like, I think it's more selfish that a deer camp. No, he's out of Michigan.
Sure.
So I don't hunt there. I don't know what it's like
a
over
different
there.
perspective, yeah.
But I don't think their deer camp is very different than our deer camp. Like, I think we got some pretty similar vibes going on here, especially in the Northwoods, especially with deer herd and predation and deep, cold, dark winters and all that shit. But he's like, it's more selfish for all those 3 generations to continue to shoot spikes because they want to shoot something. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not trying to like tell my uncle or grandpa if they hunt.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's like,
by the way, you guys shouldn't shoot that spike because we need big deer.
Right.
And so I'm like, isn't it more selfish to tell them that they should shoot, that they should pass, and because you want a big deer? And then there's a lot of assumption in there that you assume that if a spike is shot, that it's limiting your ability to shoot a big deer. And my argument there, and I've said this and I've talked about it and I've posted about it, is that like, I've never, 0 times so far in like my over a decade of being in this space, have yet to hear, for the most part, a legitimate, consistent, mature buck killer complain about that ever. I think you're hunting a very different beast, and you're playing a very different game to kill a deer of that caliber. That like, you ought not to be concerned with the guy killing the spike, because typically they're not in the same freaking arena, dude.
I think people understand that it's part of the reality when you start chasing bigger deer, because you watch a bigger deer die, you know, like you watch lots of deer die. And so like, I think you understand that that's, once you start, this is just such a generalization and I'm not an authority on this subject, but like, once you start chasing an upper echelon deer, you've kind of worked through the age classes, and you understand the perspective of someone that does that. And, you know, maybe if you're blessed with the ability to control a herd, it deviates your perspective a little bit. But like, or, you know, if you get a neighbor that's not participating in something that you're very stringent about and your other 3 neighbors agree with, you know, so like that's a different thing. I can understand someone's perspective there, but like, I think
public
that
land, you know,
yeah, I think that you understand that that's part of the game, that you're going to lose some deer. Like, and so I can understand the resistance, but the question, like really blatantly, was just, is it more selfish for someone to shoot a spike or tell someone that you shouldn't shoot a spike? You know? And so like, for me, you know, my perspective on this, and like, I am not the kind of guy to shoot a spike.
Spike is a relative term here. Like,
sure, I'm not the kind of guy to shoot.
It's a term for like
a
small
yearling deer,
yeah.
right? Like, I'm not the kind of guy to shoot a yearling deer, not because I'm like this self-righteous person and whatever, and like,
you talked to the guy who just did this last year.
yeah, right. And so like there's also more meat on a big buck. You know, it's much freaking harder to get, and so like, you know, but I am in full support. I used to be, actually, you know, I used to hunt. You talk about how Michigan's a little different. I used to hunt in the real Northwoods of Wisconsin, like the Nicolet-Chequamegon National Forest, like we've talked about, like the very border, like literally I could run to Michigan without taking a break, where I was at, run to the UP, cross the Brule River, I'd be there, you know? So like, I used to shoot every damn spike I saw, you know, and like I would get Snickers in town for shooting a doe, you know, because people thought I was just destroying the population, even though we're seeing 19 does for every buck, you know. And so like, I would shoot something all the time that had less antler than this, you know, and like I was providing meat for my family from a young age, you know, and like I really wouldn't pass stuff up there because you probably were never going to see another one. And, you know, that doesn't contribute to the genetics of the overall herd, and it doesn't help other people's opportunity to kill a giant buck someday. Like, I totally agree, but like, that's not what hunting's about to everyone. You know,
that's
it's not
a good way to say it. That's not what hunting is about to everyone. So like,
that's not the outcome of hunting.
That's pretty selfish of you to assume that that's what the guys at deer camp care about.
It should not be the outcome of hunting, in my opinion.
Like, you're not seeing the forest through the trees.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, like, I think you're leaving a lot out of it. And it's like, well, don't we want to take care of it for the next generation or two, that they should have big deer to shoot at? And here's where I arrived at this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a question I'll pose to anybody listening, whether they're watching live or listening in post, tomorrow, the next day, or 2 months from now, I don't care. If all there were spikes and deer didn't get this big, and some type of deer, like, think about the blacktails out
deer
west, like, right, that we would still hunt.
Mm-hmm.
We just would. And
Mm-hmm.
like, we would find the same amount of enjoyment for the most part. We would still find ways to challenge ourselves, push the limits. It would be like, well, I hiked further than you did for my deer.
Right.
It would be, well, I packed mine out this way, or like, mine weighed this much. We'd continue to find something to contrast against it, like show prowess of, like,
right.
how the rigor we
Method.
put into do it or what have you. But if they were all spikes, we would still hunt. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not saying that I'm advocating for eradicating all mature antler class deer.
Mm-hmm.
I think we love antlers. We love a mature deer. We love what it represents, the challenge that poses, because they're such a hard animal to hunt and kill.
I think that,
and young deer are stupid. But all deer are stupid during the rut. So, like, tell me that a mature buck during the rut is any better than a spike to a degree. Sure, but boy, they're pretty dumb.
I always think in my head, like, it's really easy to pick out an albino, for instance. Mm-hmm. And I usually get this thought when I get albinos on camera. How easy would it be to kill any deer that you just knew specifically, if you were specifically trying to kill a deer? Mm-hmm. I know for a fact it'd be easier if you were killing a younger deer, or, it just is like just the frequency of daylight and stuff like that. Yeah. But like, it would still be extremely hard to kill any particular deer.
Yes,
that's
like, true.
If you saw that deer out of a herd and you were just like, I'm going to kill this half rack, 6-point, whatever, he's 2.5 years old, and I'm not shooting another deer, and there's 180s and whatever. Like, I'm just going to shoot that deer, kill my grandma last year. Like, I'm going after that one. I got a vendetta. You'd have a hard freaking, in most situations on public land, especially in Wisconsin, like, you would have a very hard time getting after that deer. Yeah, and like, there's just so many other factors. And so, like, I just think anytime that we, like, you can't win, obviously. If you kill a really small deer, like, you kill a small deer, sure, let them grow. If you kill a really big deer, like, how'd you kill it? Blah 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 blah.
You're only trophy hunting. You're doing all these things.
Yeah, like, man, you can't eat the horns, all that stuff. So like, you can't win. And so, like, all this comparison and stuff like that is just, it's worthwhile commentary. It's worthwhile to talk about in terms of ethics of our sport and what we pass down to future generations. It's very worthwhile that way, but it's not worth your own personal consideration. Like, in introspectively, like, how do I hunt based on what this person just killed or what they advocate for?
Yeah. It's hard for people to get to that. Like, you remember being, I mean, you're still young, but you remember being, like, in high school. Mm-hmm. You care deeply about other people's opinions, and you can't even help it. You're barely aware of it.
Yeah.
And you want to wear this brand of clothing.
Oh my God. No, that was never me, but
you know what I mean? Like, there's all of these
trying to say.
things that you do to, like, fit in with a certain group in a certain way. Like, there's reasons why people, as full-grown adults, are like, I represent this brand. No, I represent that brand. It's because that brand means something to them in a certain way that doesn't mean to the other person. Like, people care about this shit. Well, until you don't, you eventually kind of just age out of it, and you're like, I care that my shoes are comfortable because my back hurts. Like, I care about different things. I could give a shit outside of the nucleus of my family about judgment from some other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And unless they're in my circle of, like, influence, I'll listen to your opinion. If you're out of it, I'm not putting a lot of weight into what someone else tells me how to do something that I care about.
I think it's because you're comfortable with who you are. And, like, I just think that.
But some people need to hear people like us talk about this to go like, oh, man.
When you boil it down, like, anything where you're talking about someone else's kill, regardless of if it's inferior to what you typically do or superior, I believe it's a structure of your ego. Like, I think that a lot of us are saying, like, you killed it with this method and I don't use that method because I consider it unethical as an excuse for why we didn't succeed.
If we care about ethics, we would all be using crossbows. That's super ethical.
I mean, it's like, it's a really hard pill for me to swallow, like, chasing, like, big deer. And just, I mean, it's kind of like wrestling. Like, in wrestling, like, you only lost because of you. If you shouldn't have ever made it close enough for the ref to make a call, the guy's the same damn freaking age. within a couple years. He's the same weight. Like, you guys are allowed to practice the same amount of time with your teams. You all have the same amount of time to go work. Like, you know, if anyone had complained in Platteville that we're in engineering school and we study more, and, you know, our coach would make us run for days on end until we puked, and then he would make us run until our legs fell off. You know, like, that's just a completely trash mindset. And so, like, I take complete accountability when someone else kills the deer I'm after, because it is completely my fault. Like,
we're at the same playing field. Like, if they happen to get lucky, they might have got luckier that day. I don't know.
Well,
like,
it's like,
we've talked about this with the variables before. Like, a coyote could have bumped that deer out and had nothing to do with any of the things you had done.
Well, it's like, I work a job where I can't go. There's a lot of people that hunt the same deer and same properties I hunt that can go all year long. As when they can be out there in the morning, they can be out there midday, they can be out there afternoon, every freaking day.
And on those days, you're like,
well, I'm at
FOMO,
work. And,
FOMO.
Yeah, or like, I'm getting into the spot, and we both know where this deer's at, and I'm getting in there 3 hours later. Yeah, Prince of Wales.
Sitka blacktail.
That would be cool.
Jesus.
But
and Knife Dreams, come hunt public land in West Michigan. Please tell me how easy you find it. I'm not snotty. I can't be choosy.
Yeah.
And we all have different lots in life, man. Like, we're different ages. We have different things going on, different points in our careers.
Yeah, and I think that,
gosh, we're judging against one metric, not taking into account of all the other stuff.
And I mean, a testament to the public land that I'm hunting, like, you just saw how many people freaking knew about that deer. And I didn't share with you maybe half the pictures that I have of that deer from other people, and that person from other people.
But so
there's a lot that speaks to the pressure. And the only deer that was supposed to make it got poached. Like, that's how much pressure's out. Like, it's bad.
But is it who's more, dude? I guess I'm thinking out loud here. So you're getting my stream of consciousness, but I should be selfish about how I punch my tag. It's my tag.
Yeah.
It
pertains to
the
yourself.
Selflessness comes into, like, am I doing damage to the herd? Well, no, then the DNR shouldn't have allotted that many tags. And so I did this exercise. I took the total population of all deer in Wisconsin. It's like some stupid big number, like 1.8 million. Of those, about 50%, 48% are bucks. Okay. So then it goes almost down the middle. So then whatever 1.8 divided by 2 is 900,000 deer. There's 900,000 bucks or something. Like, I'm making this up a little bit because I don't remember all the stats in my head, but I had gone through this exercise to basically figure out, like, okay, of all licenses sold for archery and gun through the entire all huntable seasons in the state, the amount of hunters there are against the number of deer is dwarfed. In contrast, now the number of tags filled for bucks and for does, it continues, like, I think, like a marketing funnel. You have your top of funnel awareness, your consideration phase, and your bottom of funnel conversion. So by the time you get to the conversion, it's like you'd be lucky to get a 1 to 3% conversion rate on reaching 1 million people. Like, that's considered good or whatever, right? And maybe there's variables where you could get a 5% conversion rate because the creative really kicked ass or something. Like, there's years where you're going to have more people harvesting deer, but by and large, like, hunting is on a bit of a decline in terms of number of licenses sold, number of deer harvested. Those two things are down. And so if they're issuing 1 buck archery tag and 1 gun buck tag in this state, and I shoot whatever buck I shoot, is that really damaging the herd? So when you work the math all the way back up, it's like, no, it's not. If everyone if every single hunter filled every single tag that they purchased, we would actually still be totally okay.
Yeah. I think it's different in different. Yeah, I think it's different in different states.
It totally is. I don't know. I didn't do this in other states. It would be an interesting exercise.
Yeah, it's different based on the population density of deer in particular
areas. But I tried to do that exercise to be like, okay, if everyone did shoot these deer, would we still be able to hunt? Like, how did the DNR get to these conclusions? And every state is run very differently. So the tags that are dished out and how they're dished out and what they look like I think it's Michigan. I could be wrong. Where it is 1 buck, you get to pick your weapon. Like,
that's Indiana, I think.
Is it Indiana, or maybe it's Ohio? I don't.
I think Michigan's $2.
But I know I talked to someone the other day, and I was like, "Dude, wait, what? You get 1 buck tag, and then you have to, like." That's kind of a gamble. Like, I could go try to kill with my bow, or I could wait till gun and just slop it off at 400 yards. You know,
right.
So what an interesting choice to make.
Yeah, it depends on your pressure.
The point of that is to say, I don't know. What's our impact on global warming if I drive my fucking car?
There's so many variables at play.
It's a grain of sand in the fucking whole scale of things.
There's so many variables at play. It's really hard to say. But I think that it's almost hard to go from variable to outcome. You almost have to look at really abstractly one variable to outcome across different situations. So like if you look at Michigan, like you wouldn't think that it would be regionally, it's in one of the greatest habitat areas in the entire world,
Sure.
literally, to produce giant deer. But like if you look at regulation and just, you know, you don't even really have to understand the variables to know that the outcome is less bucks of maturity in many areas. And so like there is some point where hunters make an impact. There is some point,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Like because and it's not like the same because like you have that whatever number you come out to with bucks, like they're divvied up into different age classes. But if you start, you know, killing the younger deer, like you no longer have the other age classes represented, and you can stunt down. You know, it's like I don't think it's possible to do on a completely statewide level. You know, like
and even in the States, it's got to be regional. We have
Yeah,
callers.
there's-
Shit, totally didn't realize we had callers on the line.
there's giant bucks in every
let's,
state too. I mean,
I'm going to bring a caller in real quick. 1 second.
Okay.
They weren't waiting too long. Hey, Jared, can you hear us? Yeah. Oh, why don't I hit the talk button? That would probably help. Can you hear us now?
Oh.
Did I? Oh, it says terminated.
He hung up.
He hung up. Hold on. He's getting screened right now. Let's see if I can bring him in. Let's try this again. Derek, or Jesus. Jared, can you hear us okay?
Okayest, maybe. Okay.
There it
you
is.
go, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And hopefully, our live viewers can hear you. So if someone, I think Keegan's in the comments, if someone can comment if they can hear Jared, that'd be great. If not, you just have to get in post.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But I'll admit, I'm probably one of the most selfish hunters on the planet, for a variety of reasons. And listening to the show tonight, I think content creation kind of ruined it for a lot of people. But I don't do content. Like when I hunt, it's me, and I'll never be a hunting content creator. And when I hear people poaching or I hear people like ashamed of their deer, I think that's what drove it. And Eric, you know, old Fred Bear, if you look at old buck polls like back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there was like just hundreds of deer, dozens. And no one was bragging about the size of them. Everyone was just stoked to put a buck on the pole. And I think that's what's changed it.
Yeah, I think it's the media comparison. Like social media is a huge aspect of it too. Like
Even before that, it was magazines, right? Like,
yeah,
boy, man, I'd love to get featured as a story in that magazine. Like, I think the ego's been there this whole time. It's shown up in different ways, and now it's just there's no gatekeepers because you could just go kill a giant buck, post it, and suddenly now you're famous. Like that wasn't the case back then, though. It was still an opportunity and a possibility. It was just a little bit different.
It's like, what is your perspective on what a 10 out of 10 woman looks like now versus when you were in the 1800s and you saw 8 women like a month? Like, you know, like you have access to everything. Like everyone, I don't know, man. It's up to the individual, right? Like it's up to the individual to not do that comparison and to be proud of what you do and, you know, not pay attention to those things. Cause like you can really just compare yourself to death. Like it's so cancerous for us to have this immediate comparison everywhere we go. And we just need to let that go and do things for us. And I think that there is an argument to be had for private land. I think there's an argument, you know, maybe even on public land too, of course, like to let certain deer go. Like I understand, like I chase big deer, right? Like I would love to see big deer.
Well, so, and I'll stop you for a second. Cause like what I would say is, pass, shoot, don't pass. Like the like full distillation of what we stand for is like, just don't tell other people what they should do. So if you want to pass, then that's your prerogative. You should do that. If you want to shoot, you should do that. Unless the regulations say otherwise and the law says otherwise, do whatever is legally and most ethically available to you to do to address however you're hunting and why you're hunting.
Yeah, Jared, how do you stand on that?
I throw in the caveat, like, you know, there's experienced hunters and there's new hunters. So this year during my rutcation, I passed on every deer I saw. Like I just sat in a stand and I was like, you know what? it's a smaller deer. But I was telling like even my kids and my family members that were hunting for their first. My kids had hunted before, but I had a cousin with me, and he's like, "Hey, you know, what do I shoot?" And I'm like, "You know, hey man, shoot the first deer you see if it gets your blood pumping." And you know, and I was like, next year maybe you get in the stand a little earlier, you have a little more experience, and you shoot it. But I'm never going to shame someone for shooting their first, like, you know, small buck, their first derpy buck, because that's what gets them to come back the next season. Like, period. If you shame them and be like, you can't shoot it, like guys that go into a club and they're like, you can't shoot anything but like a 130-inch spread buck here, and they'll see dozens of deer, and it just like beats them down. So, I mean, with the experience, the more you're out in the field, like, you know, hunt what makes you happy. But at the same time, like new hunters, and I think that's why numbers are down, is they look at, you know, I don't know, Bill Jordan, Realtree, Michael Walden, all the big guys out there killing these massive
Derek Malcor.
deer, and they're like, I got a 4-point. Should I shoot it? And they immediately are like, well, maybe I shouldn't, because the industry tells me I shouldn't. And I'm like, no, man, like bag that deer. You're going to go up to it shaking, trembling. And next season, you're going to call me in October being like, I know it's 90 degrees out in South Carolina. Are we hunting this year? So I don't know. It just, that's it. And then if it's public or private, get out there, just do the thing. And I don't know. That's just me on it though.
Yeah. I just don't think the outcome of hunting is, in my opinion, I just don't think the outcome of hunting is shooting a deer. I just don't.
Yeah, you're right. No,
I fail way too
more,
often to trust that that's the only outcome.
And sometimes though it is like, not to say that that's the whole point or the only point, or that's the one
goal
thing
and
you should
outcome.
do.
I think are two different.
Yeah. But like, if your goal is to shoot a deer, you still might have a different outcome from that season, that you got enough to fill your soul or your bucket or whatever it is. Sometimes shooting a deer is still like valuable. So, like when I shot the deer with my dad, like that was the last bow hunt I was going to hunt this year. Like highly likely that was the case, living the life that I'm living right now. And I'm like, you know, it was super exciting. Definitely got my blood boiling. And, you know, Dad's there to top it off. Like, and he shot a deer that day too. Just overall, I'm really happy I did shoot that deer, and no one could take that away from me. Even though some people certainly tried to, because like, let's look at milk on its lips, and like it's not that small, like guys, come on. But in that case, passing on that deer wouldn't have been as rewarding for me at that time. And so the selfishness of it is kind of like, yeah. And it was on my uncle's leased property. He shoots big deer off that property. Boy, he was pretty happy to have me stop by and show him that deer.
Yeah.
You know, even though that's not what he would shoot.
Right.
Anyway,
my son's heartbreaking story, and like getting into that, is it the goal to shoot a deer? Is it the goal? So my son started hunting with deer when he was like 14. He turned 18 this past spring, and he'd never killed a deer. He's hunted with me in the most miserable of conditions. Like, I remember one morning there was like frost growing on the rail of the tree stand, and it's like his 3rd or 4th year. He's like, Dad, like, I don't want to do this anymore. It sucks. Like, I don't see deer, or if I see deer, you know, I don't have a shot. And then this year, it's the worst thing that could have happened to him. He finally had a shot, like shot it. I'm not gonna say it was a bad shot. If it was a good shot, but we found one drop of blood. We looked for that deer for 3 hours in the dark, you know, searching, scanning. We get back to camp, and you know, he's more heartbroken than anything. But he looked at me and he's like, Dad, like before I pulled the trigger, I was shaking so bad. Like, I watched that deer for 20 minutes. And I finally, like, in all the years that you drugged me out here, you got me up early, I dealt with like crappy deer camp food. He's like, I get it. And I want to come back, and I want to try it again. Versus like that year, he's like, I don't want to go. You're making me go. So shooting the deer sometimes is what turns the tide, and that's what makes people stick with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was getting my wife into hunting this year, and she finally went from. We've been together almost 7 years now, and it's been years of like, will you go out with me on a sit? And like, I couldn't bring a bow, you know, and like she would always be fine to walk in the woods, and then she's fine to walk off trail, and now I can go on a sit without a bow, and then I can go on a sit with a bow, but I can only shoot a giant buck if it comes by, and like, she doesn't want to see it, and like, then I can go on a sit with a bow, and she can come with me, and I can shoot something, which we just got to last year. And then this year she's like, okay, I've been practicing archery for 2-3 years now. I would like to do it myself too. And I was like, all right. So we were sitting on the couch one day, we were watching this video, and a kid Like, oh, I think I was scrolling through my phone. I saw a kid with like a fawn, like a nub buck, and I was like, oh, look how cute this is. Like, this kid just got his first deer, and she's like, why would he shoot that? And like, she's just seeing what I hunt, and she's
Yeah.
seeing like the stuff I watch, right?
Yeah.
And so like, she's like, why would he shoot that? And I was like, she's like, that's wrong. And I was like, no, it's not. I'm like, that's that kid's first deer. And she's like, yeah, but it's so young. That's so sad. And I'm like, Caitlin, you don't understand this yet. You'll understand it when you hunt, but it's a lot harder than it looks. But like, that deer, he shot it completely legally, and that deer is just going to mean the world to that kid and that family and that dad. Like, that is just, that's an amazing thing that just happened. And but yeah, like the deer's
He just
a bit
participated
young.
in the food chain actively.
Yeah, that deer,
you know, like,
that deer's
just,
a bit young, but like so is that kid. And like even if it was I told her, I was like, if it's a grown ass man with that deer, like we should accept that. You know, we should be happy for him. If it's a guy that's killed 300 freaking bucks in his life, like he killed that thing legally and he's going to use that to provide for his family. I think what's tragic is when someone shoots a deer after dark. It's an illegal species, and they lie to the police and they desert the carcass. Like those are like that's what makes that story crazy. But like that's the tragedy. Is like when something goes wrong and that deer is wasted and a life was given and not taken with respect. You know, and so like that's to me a loss in hunting is. And then when we get at each other, like we just talked about how we don't have that many of us comparatively to anything.
We certainly don't, and that's. Positive community, a healthy and positive hunting community is maybe just as important as a healthy herd of deer.
I would say more so,
Like,
because if we don't have the ability to hunt, it doesn't
then
care.
The herd's fucked.
Yeah,
like
right. Like if we don't have any funding or we don't defend each other, this is just going to be taken away from us, and it's not going to matter if there's 200s running everywhere.
Yep.
You know, like I had people telling me
if my kid's a toy and they can't play nicely together, I take the damn toy away. Like, you know what? You guys don't deserve this toy. I'm taking it away. Now you just ruined it for yourselves because you can't stop fighting and arguing over it. What the heck?
Yeah.
If you play with it nicely, you can keep it. Like, I feel like that's kind of like how we are.
It's
with
like a
hey,
game
we're going to let you
show.
hunt. And it seems like you guys aren't really getting along with this thing that you like to do. Maybe we just don't need to do it all.
It's like one of those game shows where like you can choose to steal the other person's half, or if you like both default, like you both get half, or like you can choose to steal and the other person gets nothing. Yeah, and or if you both choose to steal, you get nothing. So like it's just everyone choosing to steal right now. Like it's everyone's like, you got to do it my way. You got to have it under these conditions. You can't use a crossbow. Can't use cell cameras. Can't use a drone. Which like these are things that I'm for and against as well.
But the optics of a grown man with a baby deer, the optics are kind of like that. But you just don't know enough behind the post.
You don't have to
judge, and
like you don't have to,
and you don't need to. Anyways,
yes. It is a man.
It's like if you road rage on someone and then they get out of the car, you get out of the car, and suddenly you realize, like, I don't know, they're bald and they have cancer and they're shriveling away and they're just on like a joyride. And they like suddenly you're like, oh, now I feel really bad that I was just gonna go chew them out. You know, you don't need to get to that point to feel bad. Just don't do it in the first place.
Yeah, I just think it just shouldn't matter what the conditions are. I feel
correct.
Like
that's the point. Yes.
Any way that we're like. That would be the thing that makes people feel bad, but people should just be
You don't need to get to that point to have that singing like, oh, I just reeled in, and it's like, oh, well, my mom just died. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like you should have been sorry before.
You shouldn't have fucking just done it to begin with, dude. Yeah. You know. Anyway, Jared, you had something to add there.
No, I think I would get. Honestly, I would get a lot less. I would get more upset about poaching, I guess, or even I would find it if we wouldn't give people the slap on the wrist for it, like when they just abused it. Because I think this year, even with like poachers, a lot of the stories have been like repeat offenders or people that have done it above and beyond. And it's like I hate Northwood's law because they're like, this guy's been poaching for 3 years. We're going to give him a 2-year suspension, $1,800 fine. Yeah. Even in the fishing industry,
they've been
like
putting
fishing,
weights
like
in fish and shit. Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Yeah, like I'm like, holy shit, like no, like ruin these guys' lives for a little bit. And I heard the earlier part where it's like, yeah, ask forgiveness. Well,
that's different.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on the ruin the lives because
wrong,
they need they need appropriate repercussion.
Yeah,
and I'm just saying like their life outside of hunting should not be just freaking torn away because I have a picture of this dude.
Yeah,
but what you're saying, I agree with. Like the person should be penalized accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, every time I see these stories, but, at the same time, when new hunters get out in the woods, it's like, and I'm not saying like shoot a deer after dark, but it's like, hey, hunter, like you're new, like get out there, take chances, do it right, get a deer that makes you excited, call it a day. And then, as years go on, get better at it and just have fun out there versus like, I don't know, even new hunters that are like, oh, I want to go hunt, and they just want to bag that big buck to get internet clout. And it's like, no, get that smaller deer, get that, don't shoot the doe with 2 babies with her, like, let her pass. But maybe if there's 2 does and 3 fawns, then, you take the bigger doe, one of the bigger does. But I think that people that are getting into hunting are getting into it, like on the internet at least. But then even then, I'm at a small deer camp in South Carolina, and the guys that are joining the club, they're like, man, I just want to get like a good deer. I want to lose at poker. Some guys are like, I want to cheat at poker to have good times. And it's like, yeah, that's it. And I still like the small, like hunting clubs, and I see Northern Michigan clubs all the time. And it's like, these guys just show up and have good times. They hunt, they lie about their biggest deer they've ever killed. And I think that's what's going to get more hunters into it. We don't tell stories about the video games we played. We don't tell stories about a reel we saw on the internet, but we will tell the same hunting story 100 times every year.
Yeah, we really do.
We're
turning into that at our camp for sure. No, it's good. Hey, Jerry, we got another caller. I'm going to bring the other caller on.
Yeah.
But good to hear from you. And by the way, for those that don't know, Jared's with OKS Shooter, i.e. Powder Horn Podcast. So check that one out as well on the network.
Thanks, Jared.
Have a good night, boys.
All right, who's the next? We have, I'm trying to see, the way that it auto screens, it doesn't always get the name, but it looks like they're from Wisconsin. You're live. Who do we got?
Yes, please.
They might be ordering food right now or something.
Hello?
You're live on the podcast. Who do we got? I hate to hang up because they probably waited a while.
I'll do 6 and 6 of the chicken bourbon. And
oh yeah, they're ordering food.
Chicken bourbon sounds good. Just like stalking this guy's order right.
Where do you think they're ordering from?
I don't know. I don't know where chicken bourbon would be from.
I'll do another tall boy at Coors Light.
Okay. Tall boy Coors Light.
They're at a bar.
They're at a bar?
Watching the podcast live.
Hell yeah.
Is it?
I don't know if this is the one we keep on.
I think it's is this Bryce?
You would think they would be worried about.
I think it's
trail
Bryce.
Cameras. You can't walk 200 yards without passing one. Yeah, I think trail cameras have gotten a little out of hand, and that's a little hypocritical on my part because I still use them.
Bryce, are you there? You're live on the podcast.
I'll do 6, 6, and 6.
He's at B-Dubs, man.
Oh, B-Dubs, 6, 6, and 6 wings. He's taking his order right now. This is hilarious.
Ranch.
I don't want to let him go right now because, like, I feel bad.
Can he stay in the queue?
I can return the queue.
Just return the queue.
We're just getting his full B-Dubs order.
Good order, but like,
I'll bring him. I'll try again in a minute. And it's a leg too, so he's probably like,
yeah.
Oh shit.
I want to do a finish with Caitlin because she had her first year hunting this year.
Okay.
She went several sits without seeing anything. Quickly realized how hard it was, and she was like, I would show her pictures of like forkies and stuff like that. I'd be like, oh, like that would be a stud for first deer, like something antlered, and like basket 8s, and she'd be like, I'd let that one go, and then very, very quickly changed. Very quickly changed. She understood how hard it was. I mean, she was hauling a backpack in, not with much in it besides extra clothes, but like, I'm carrying latitude sticks and platform, and then a hang-on stand and other sticks and stuff in case we got to be in separate trees, and try to be in the same tree every time. But like, you can't go too far in. You can't,
it's a lot.
Can't go too far in. We still went 1.5 miles sometimes.
Oh my gosh,
which
so funny.
She's a trooper, but she loved it, and it was a really cool way for us to grow closer together. But like, eventually we got to the point, and I got really good video of this. She shot a deer, and it was just like we planned. Happened way quicker than we expected. She held draw for a minute, which is insane for her.
Time. Yeah.
And then while the deer was behind cover, let down without spooking the deer. Wow. Like, that's awesome. Deer came back in. She drew. The only thing she forgot was to stop it, but I stopped it in the perfect opening. Steep angle, 15-yard shot. And she shot it. I thought she smoked it. and it sounded good. Couldn't find the arrow, couldn't find a speck of blood. And so we back out. We finally go to get to review the footage because I had left my Mac at home, and it's a little bit forward, high shoulder. Could have been a fatal shot, but like we weren't sure. But she cried.
Did you share that video with me, Derek?
I might have.
Yeah.
I might have in the moment.
This
But
past season?
yeah.
Yeah.
So she cried, and like
It's not
we were
how
like,
you want
it's
to go,
probably
right.
not going to be a fatal hit just based on penetration. We did everything we could possibly do, all night long search. Like I didn't sleep
It's
before work
emotional
the next
for that
day.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. And actually, the only person to find blood was her. Me and like a friend that's really, really good at hunting were just hands and knees, all sorts of searching. And she found the first speck of blood. We followed blood for maybe 20 yards, tiny amounts of blood, about 300 yards after the site of the shot, and then just never found the deer. And so it kind of crushed her a little bit, but she got back out there.
Mm-hmm.
But she really quickly realized that like this is different. This is such an experience. Like she would shake when we heard deer coming, when we saw deer, and she would go on multiple sits without seeing anything at all. And like she was like, I get it. I completely get it now. Like it's an amazing experience, and you can't take away from anyone based on what your ethics are, and there's still a time and a place for passing on spikes or whatever you want to call it. Like
it
can be a really good thing,
you know? Seen
like,
Walter Mitty, the movie Walter Mitty, where he's like,
the
moment's good enough.
Yeah,
if
you
I like
don't
it
use
enough,
the camera.
I won't take the picture.
Yeah.
I didn't take a shot with my rifle at a deer that was sitting right in front of me.
Yeah.
I really wanted to shoot my gun. Like I'm telling you, itchy trigger finger. Like I kind of was like, this is gun hunting. This is different. I don't seem to really care as much. Like I'm not going to see whatever I see is what I see. It's public land, super freaking pressured.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's
it's Wisconsin.
There's orange blobs everywhere, man. Like I want to shoot this deer. I already had meat, so I was good there, right? Like I didn't need it. And I have a buddy that hadn't shot a deer in 4 years, so I tried to like spook it to him. But dead to rights and let it pass. I passed on another one for the same reason, so my buddy could get it.
Trophy hunter.
It was just so funny because I was like, God, I just really want to shoot my gun, but I was like, I really want my buddy to get a deer. If it weren't for him, I would have laid the smack down, man. I would have. That was going to be fun for me, you know. I hate to say it that way.
Look at you, this high horse trophy hunter across the table from me here.
I passed on a spike with my bow 2 seasons ago. It followed the script exactly how I thought a big buck was going to, and it just happened this little guy, and I was like, man. And he got me shaking. I was so jazzed, and I was like, because it was a deer, you know. And I didn't shoot him. Because I was like, no. I worked really hard to get the spot. I know what I'm after this season. It was different, and all that stuff adds up, man. Like, and so every season ebbs and flows differently. I have to imagine that's the case for everyone.
Yeah. For me, it's like abide by the law, have a set of personal ethics, like what you believe that you should do, and do not hold anyone to that set of ethics.
Yep.
Do not try to promote it. Do not tell someone that they should do this because you agree with it or not. And anytime that you see someone killing something better than you and you write it off because of cell cameras, or you write it off because of crossbow, or you write it off because of private land, it's not worthwhile. It's a mark of the ego.
And
it's taking away from your adventure. Or, anytime you see someone kill something inferior and you're upset about it, it is their experience. It's not yours. It's not inhibiting yours. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like, if you think that someone, like, let's say someone has some kind of cancer, right? And they're making excuses, like, those people that are fighting for their lives are not making excuses for why everything's hard. They're just fighting for their freaking lives. They're just like battling their ass off, right? For me, it's like hard to see someone that, and I've freaking gained weight for this season. I have plenty of reasons why, but like, it's hard for me to see someone that's extremely big and they have a lot of valid reasons why. Like, hypothyroidism is a huge thing in my family, right? And people have gained weight because of it, and some people have fought it much better, and they have it to different levels, right? What inhibits you is not an excuse for an outcome. Your life is harder. It's much harder. It sucks. And everyone else had it easier. And that might be very true, right? But it doesn't freaking matter how anyone else has it or how you have it. It's just about, what are you going to do to succeed? Are you going to roll over and die? Like, are you just going to choose to knowingly shorten your lifespan? Are you going to choose to just be fixated on this guy that killed a spike because you're after this booner, or some dude that poached the deer you're after, or whatever? Or can you just take these situations that you've been thrown into, take the variables that you have at hand, and make the most of them?
Yeah, play your deck of cards, and then figure out where you are happy, comfortable, confident in life. Like you might find that, you know what, killing big deer is really hard.
Yeah.
I enjoy a lot of other things about hunting. Trying to do that, like we talked about on the Wired to Hunt podcast last week, turns out that was making some people pretty miserable.
Yep.
Because they were
straining.
Like my daughter, who is now 8, says, find the fun. Like, if you can't find the fun in deer hunting, you probably just need to like have an eval with yourself real quick about what your priorities are and what's important to you and why. And so that was that episode. And maybe for a certain season of life, you can get what you do love out of hunting and shelf or couch this one part for a little bit. Even in business, I remember talking to a business coach that I had, Quentin is his name, super smart guy. Really enjoy talking. I actually miss talking with him. But he had sat me down, and at the time I had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different like businesses that I was trying to like move. And so he just simply wrote on a piece of paper 4 balls, labeled them with the businesses, put a goalpost on the other side of the paper. He's like, now you could kick all of these balls down this field, but if you're trying to do all of them at once, you can only kick one at a time. So you're spreading yourself against these balls. You could probably get them all down the field. You might, but boy, oh boy, it would be a lot easier to just pick one and just went all in on that one. And the outcome was like, and by the way, when you do that, maybe the 2 years it took you to get that one ball to the goalpost of an exit or whatever you're trying to accomplish, now you have the capital, resources, and time to go do the other things. You can always come back to another thing.
And you're more adept.
Like we tried doing the daily deer at the beginning of this year. For those that might or might not remember, we stopped doing it. That's okay. Maybe we'll come back to that when we have the time, money, and resources to do it. But it ended up not being worth it. So like, that's okay. That was a decision we made, and it was our decision to make. 'Cause it's literally our fucking business, just like it's your tag. So if you want to like get back to traditional bow hunting at some point, and now is not the season of life for that, you can maybe get back to that when your kids are going. Now you have more time to practice, or I don't know, I'm making shit up here. But we're running long. Now I could talk about this literally forever because I had a bang, and this is like part of my life. I've even branded myself now with this symbol of humility on my arm, as a reminder to like stay humble with this stuff. Just like we say, hunt your own hunt, run your own race, walk your own walk, live your own life.
I want to like concede to a little bit that there is a place to pass deer, and like if you're just because you are on a different mission than us, that's fine. Like that's probably a very good thing. Like it might be better for the herd or whatever, right? You know, like that's a really good thing. I just don't think there's an appetite. Like we said over and over again, you know, it's like everyone knows that vegan that tells everyone else they should be vegan for whatever ethical reason they can. But if someone's vegan for like, hey, I don't like farming and such, whatever, I respect them just for being disciplined and having a set of values and sticking to it. I completely disagree with it. Like I completely disagree with a lot of their motivations. That doesn't mean that they're wrong. That doesn't mean that what I'm doing is wrong. Like I just support someone that has some values and stands to them. And I just think that, like you said, with your analogy with the balls and kicking them down the field, like pick the things that matter most to you, stand up for them in your own mind, right? Prioritize how you need to put the correct things above others. And if other people live another life, allow them to, and just focus on yourself. And, you know, if something hurts the sustainability of what you're after, you know, there's maybe some gray area there, but like truthfully, like hunt your hunt in every area of your life. Like pursue what you care about most and define those things and find the fun in every day while you do it.
That was really good. Right as you were saying that, and because of the stoicism stuff that we've kind of had in common, I think this is a Marcus Aurelius quote, but be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Like you don't have to have the same expectations of others as you would yourself. And I think that quote sums it up very succinctly. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. If that's how you want to roll. But like oftentimes people aren't strict with themselves, and then they put like they're tolerant with themselves and strict with others. It's like the quite opposite. Like I'll be the first to tell you you should do this, but I'm not doing it my damn self. That's asinine. It really should be the way that Marcus Aurelius said it. And so that could be. I mean, I don't know if I can apply that. If I what's a deer with like? Is there a deer? Be tolerant with your own with other people's tags and how they choose to notch them, and be strict with yourself and how you notch yours if you want to be strict with it, Yeah. But we don't need to be judging other people. We just don't.
Yeah. It's like, worry about your
Especially
tag.
in something that's so romantic and intimate as hunting. And I mean romantic in like a smoochy way. I mean like it's a very romanticized thing.
Yeah.
It's very intimate in the close quarters that your wife just did experience. Like you're right there. There's a reason she felt emotional about that animal, because she saw it, she watched it, she was close to it. Like it matters. So
I would say like respect your tag and accept others' tags.
Yeah.
Punched or not. Just accept how they do it. Respect. Put the respect necessary into chasing your mission. Whether it means you're going to punch that tag or not. But respect what you ended up with. A unpunched tag, a small deer that's got ground shrinkage, a small deer you were really proud of, a big deer you're really proud of. Respect them all the same, because you're taking a life or you're standing on your principles, which both of those are honorable things. And accept, whatever someone else chooses. It's not up to us. But
I know that if you put out the social media, you're inviting that commentary in. It's just kind of how it is. It's the world we live in. So like, you're gonna get some shit.
I'm good at that. I'm actually really good at getting shit. Believe it or not.
Same. And so like, if you're gonna do that, then like you're gonna have to know that you're gonna be exposed to that stuff. So like, take it with a grain of salt. But no, we got one more episode coming up next week. That'll be it until we jettison out for the holidays. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the support this year, and thanks for jumping in here to keep me from talking to myself all night, or to people taking orders at B-Dubs.
Yeah, I'm always happy to.
All right, folks, have a good one.